Blood was found inside their home. A cadaver dog alerted in the bedroom, and yet, 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro is still missing. A baby too young to walk, too innocent to understand danger vanished without a trace. But inside his home, investigators uncovered something chilling. Signs that death may have touched this house. Tonight, we dig into the case of baby Emmanuel, a story that begins with hope, but spirals into suspicion and fear. If a dog trained to smell death picked up a scent, and if blood was discovered in the very place where Emmanuel lived, then what really happened to him? And before we continue, I need to ask you something. If you think this couldn't happen where you live, think again. The truth is, children disappear every single day. Subscribe right now, because the only way these stories stay alive is if we refuse to look away. On the day Emmanuel was last seen, nothing seemed unusual. He was just 7 months old, still at the stage where every smile is innocent. Every cry is a plea for comfort. But that ordinary day would become the last time anyone outside his family ever laid eyes on him. Hours later, a questioned, streets were scanned. A mother's voice was broadcast, pleading for the safe return of her child. The media framed it as every death. Their presence signaled a shift from hope to grim possibility. When the dogs entered the Haro home, the air grew heavier, and then the alert. Inside the bedroom, a chilling silence followed, broken only by the handler's confirmation. The dogs had detected what no one wanted to believe. And it didn't stop there. Blood was discovered inside the home. Reports indicated it wasn't just a trace, but enough to demand answers. Where exactly it came from, pulling the case further away from a story of abduction and closer to something far darker. Police spoke carefully, their words measured. They did not accuse, but they did not comfort either. "We are pursuing all leads," they said. "The evidence is being analyzed." Behind those lines, the implication was clear. Something in that house wasn't right. The media picked up the revelations quickly. Headlines no longer spoke only of a missing baby, they spoke of cadaver dogs, blood evidence, and sympathy gave way to suspicion. People asked, if Emmanuel was taken, then why was there blood? If he was kidnapped, then why would a cadaver dog alert inside his own home? The story had fractured, and with it, the trust in the family's version of events. If blood can be found in a baby's home without answers, what does that say about your safety? Subscribe now, because silence lets stories like this disappear forever. As evidence mounted, the case of Emmanuel Haro began to split into competing theories, each one darker than the last. The first theory? Neglect or accident. Covered up. Could something tragic have happened inside that home? A fall, an injury, a moment of carelessness that led to Emmanuel's death? And instead of calling for help, did someone decide to hide the truth? The cadaver dog's alert and the discovery of blood seemed to fit this possibility all too well. The second theory was more sinister. Foul play within the home. What if this wasn't an accident at all? What if the scent of death and the blood evidence pointed to violence, deliberate, intentional harm against a helpless infant? Then came theory 3. A staged abduction. Was the missing child report itself a carefully constructed diversion, a way to deflect suspicion, to make the world look outward, when the answers might have always been within those walls? And finally, a theory that subscribe, share, and don't let silence bury him.